Hello, everyone.
Yeah, good morning, Aditi ji.
Good morning. And thank you so much to Nupur ma'am and Shabana ma'am and the team for giving me this opportunity to talk about sustainability. Sustainability is a topic that is close to my heart, and I'm really looking forward to share my thoughts and discuss with you on this topic. Now, sustainability is something, sustainability, climate change, these words are being commonly used nowadays. But what do we mean by sustainability? Now, the definition says sustainable development means that the resources that we are using now in this present generation can also be used by the next generations to meet their needs. Now, in our daily lives, we're dependent on a lot of resources for food, for housing, for transportation, for any aspect of our life that we can think of. We're dependent on resources. And some of these resources can get easily replenished, but some take years and years to replenish. Now, what really does this mean? We can look at this through the example of a bucket filled with water. Now, let's look at the water inside the bucket as resource. And we are using water for drinking, cooking, cleaning, gardening, and any other activity that we might need for. So we're withdrawing water from this bucket. At the same time, there is a tap which is filling water in this bucket. So as long as the withdrawal rate is lower than the rate at which the water is being filled in the bucket, we'll maintain a steady level of water in the bucket, right? But what happens is that with overconsumption nowadays, we're withdrawing too much water, taking out too much water from this as a resource, using it for multiple processes, and the resource is not getting easily replenished. So the rate of withdrawal is faster than the rate at which it is getting replaced. This is happening with every resource that we can think of. So this resource will not be there to meet the needs of our children, of our grandchildren, if we use it at this fast pace. It will not be sustainable. And this can be seen for any other and every other resource. So overconsumption is an issue. And this overconsumption, we'll again take an example and look at a piece of shirt. So when we want to buy a piece of shirt, we just don't go to the garden and take it. It has to be grown. Raw materials are used, grown, then raw materials are transported to the manufacturing site where it is manufactured, then sent to distribution, and so on and so forth. And it finally lands in the shop from where we buy it. And there are multiple processes involved in just producing one shirt, and multiple resources used. There is labor. Labor is also a resource. There is social side of sustainability, which is the labor. There is electricity being used, water being used, energy being used, and multiple things being used to produce just one piece of shirt. So a lot of resources are being used at the same time while producing the shirt. There is an impact on the environment. We are adding pollutants. We are creating emissions. What is emissions? The gases that are generated, carbon dioxide and other gases that are associated with any manufacturing process or any process. Transportation also leads to emission of gases. Just to point out, to understand how much resources are used for making anything that we can think of, a pair of jeans uses 10,000 liters of water just to be manufactured, right from when it is grown, the crop, cotton is grown, and then when it's manufactured. So the amount of resources around us are just to produce any good or service that we're using right now is a lot. We are using electricity right now. It is being primarily produced by burning fossil fuel. Now, all these activities lead to generation of gases, which I mentioned, emissions, carbon dioxide and other gases. Now, these gases are otherwise important for the environment. We breathe out carbon dioxide, take in oxygen. Carbon dioxide are used by the plants for photosynthesis. One very important need for these gases is that they capture heat from the sunlight and they maintain heat in the environment so that life can thrive. We wouldn't be able to survive if there were none of these gases in the environment. But what is happening right now is because of overconsumption, over excessive use of primarily fossil fuels, burning of fossil fuels, there are a lot of these gases in the environment. The amount is so much that the planet is heating. These gases are capturing so much heat in the environment that the planet has heated over a period of time. And this is known as global warming. So from pre-industrial times, right from when industrialization began, the temperature of the planet is only heated by about a little over 1 degree Celsius. It may not seem much, but we can already see the impact that we are facing these days. And global warming is leading to climate change. So climate change otherwise, is a natural phenomena. It happens. It means changes in the weather pattern, temperature, rainfall pattern. This is a natural phenomena. It happens due to changes in the sun's radiation or volcanic eruption, Earth's orbit changes. And many other phenomena. It happens on its own as well. But what is happening right now is human-induced climate change. It is because of the increase in the level of emissions in the environment, this is being caused. And climate change, this 1 degree Celsius may not seem much, as I mentioned, but we've experienced ice age thousands and thousands of years ago, which was again a few degrees only. So right now, the world is aiming to reduce the emissions, global emissions, so much so that the temperature is maintained of the planet to 1.5 degrees Celsius or below 2 degrees Celsius. That's the objective we are aiming at, to ensure that life survives and there are no such global events that we are facing right now. But at the current path at which we are going right now, we are projecting to reach 3.9 degrees Celsius of the planet by the end of the century, which is a lot. And what is happening around the world as an impact of climate change? In India, we can see that there is flooding, there are landslides. World over, the temperatures are rising. In Europe, in US, in India, in Asia, in China, everywhere, we are experiencing the hottest day every now and then. And there are forest fires in Greece currently, which is because the temperatures rose to 45 degrees Celsius. There is dry and arid environment, and it is leading to forest fires. So there is droughts also happening. The drier parts of the world are becoming drier. The wetter parts of the world are becoming wetter. Changes in all climate conditions. There is ice melting which is leading to rise in sea level. So the small islands that are there around the world, they will just drown. They will go underwater in a couple of years. The people who are living in these regions will not be able to survive in those regions, and they have to move to other parts of the world, and they would be known as climate refugees. So there is also a social side to all the problems that we're facing right now. The temperatures, for example, I was in India in March, and the temperature rose to 40 degrees Celsius. And this is something that I had not experienced I don't think I had ever experienced. So what happens in the natural phenomena, these events do happen. Like in 10 years, there will be a temperature rise of what we face currently. But with human-induced climate change, what is happening is these events are becoming more and more frequent. Within a year, we'll face multiple times that these temperatures rise to 45 degrees and even higher. Or there are storms. Storms would have otherwise happened once in a couple of years, but now these are becoming more and more intense and more frequent around the world. This is a big issue. Just yesterday, news was released by scientists that one of the ocean currents, which regulates the temperature, ocean currents are responsible for regulating the temperature around the world, may collapse, and very, very soon. This is one of the scientists have predicted. They're not sure. They're doing more research about it. They don't know the timeline yet, but they also think that it can happen very soon. So if that happens, the temperature in Europe would reduce by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, which is going to have multiple impact. And these phenomena make us feel that it's not just climate change, it is climate emergency these days. And to ensure that I believe that planet would be able to survive itself. There has been multiple similar issues in the past. It's us that we need to be able to survive. We'll not be able to survive these conditions that happen, the climatic changes that happen. Around the world, the government and agencies and research community, scientists, everyone is looking at the issue of climate change and looking at innovations and looking at ways in solving this problem or reducing the impact of climate change. They're also looking at ways to adapt because there are events happening, flooding is happening, drought is happening, ice is melting, sea level is rising, oceans are getting warmer, which is impacting the marine life, and it is going to impact us as well as other parts of the ecosystem. So there is work being done by governments and civil society in every research unit as well. And what is being looked at is moving from fossil fuels to other sources of energy, like solar, wind, other renewable sources of energy. Well, solar and wind, for example, they are not available 24 hours. We only get sunlight for certain limited hours. So these also have their shortcomings, but research and innovation is going on to look into ways of solving these issues and helping us move from fossil fuels, which is the primary cause of emissions. We are one of the largest solar plant is in India, in Tamil Nadu. So there's work happening here. We are looking into moving from diesel and petrol cars to hybrid or electric cars. construction sector, we are looking into materials that are less carbon intensive. So, cement alternatives or cement that is recycled. We are also looking into other ways of solving this problem. Every sector, businesses are ensuring that their work across supply chain is more sustainable, focusing also on the social as well as environmental side of sustainability. How can they be more sustainable? Packaging, they're looking into alternative ways of packaging. Using mushroom is a very important substitute alternative for packaging materials, even for house construction building materials. So innovation is happening, and people are looking into solutions of working towards solving the problem of climate change. But uh, this has to be done fast. It Because climate emergency is real, and all of us need to be a part of the solution. There is one other important solution or way of thinking, which is circular economy, which is primarily looking into, uh, which means rather than just using something and throwing it into the garbage at the end of use, we are looking into ways by which it can be reused, recycled, as well as, you know, repaired, or so that it is maintained in the economy rather than just thrown into the garbage, so that we are reducing consumption. As individuals, we can also, in our own ways, in our daily lives, look at reducing consumption, reusing the goods that we have. We can reuse materials in different ways. We can upcycle the what we have to use it in different aspects of our life, and recycle, uh, repair. So I would say that Indian community traditionally we are very sustainable because we are used to. For example, in the West, we're used to drying our clothes outside rather than using a dryer, which uses energy. We are used to, I remember being handed down my siblings' clothes and, reusing the clothes rather than buying new clothes and just throwing the siblings' clothes away. Even at home, the cloth was used for different purposes after it was worn out. So we have ways of recycling, reusing goods and materials. At the same time, when something was, maybe a piece of cloth was torn, it was repaired rather than just thrown away. So these are ways of making us more sustainable in our daily lives. Uh, at this point, I would like to ask you to go through a small exercise where what we're going to do is choose any two aspects of our life, maybe at work, at home, at the marketplace, at when we are traveling, transportation, any two aspects of our life. And we're going to look at ways, write down ways where we can be more sustainable. So we'll take about a couple of minutes. One example I'd like to give you is when we go to the supermarket, rather than taking the bag from the market, we take a reusable bag from home. We might be reducing the use of just one bag, but imagine if the entire population is doing that, how much consumption reduction would that be? Yes? So let's do this exercise and see what we come up with.
Okay, I will take the lead. Let me think of a situation like reusing the water. I used to do it very often. When we wash rice and dal for cooking, we wash it 2-3 times. I used to store that water and water my plants with that. So that was one way of reusing the water. which will go in the drain anyway. Then another thing I used to do was tea leaves and all. It used to go in the drain. I used to wash it and dry it and put it in the plant for fertilizing it. So that water, first of all, I use it for reuse those water for watering the plants, or not just throwing it away. And it was nutritious also for the plant, because some of the nutrients will go in the water also. So this is one thing which I used to do. So I think so. This is one of the way to conserve water or reuse water. What you have been saying.
Absolutely wonderful. That those two, I think, uh, wonderful ideas. Thank you for sharing, Rupnupur ma'am.
You. Anyone else who would like to share something what they are doing for reusing the things to make the sustainability, means reusing things. Many of us must be donating clothes to people. Our audience, please participate, unmute yourself. Anyone would like to share? Yes, Shabana.
Yeah, I can share like some. So one of the major water waster is also these ROs that we use in at home, no, for water purifier. So they waste a lot of water. So we also use that water in plants or some other things. So we don't let it go in the drain, because if we don't measure, we don't realize it. But otherwise, it's like in a whole day, it's quite a lot of water which get wastes otherwise. And for clothing, as Nupurji says, we definitely donate, and in that way it get recycled. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Shabana ma'am.
Yeah, Neelamji, would you like to say something?
Good morning, everyone. I want to say that we are just saving water by using steel bottle or any container, and not using the plastics, and the water wasted. We can save the water, save the water. And this water bottles are very dangerous to us. Even small distilleries and all that, they are not good for our health, and water is filled before time, and we don't get the fresh water that and this wastage of water we drink, we need to a half glass or something. So then it is better to take our own bottle and use it. So this we are doing in our life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Anyone else who would like to share something about how they conserve water or any other objects that are in use? Okay, you can proceed, Aditi. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for sharing. And similarly, I'll share some more ideas. What we can do is at home, when we're not using electricity or when we are not using any appliance, just turning it off. That will make a lot of difference. You using energy efficient appliances, so they do not use more energy than what is required. That will also make an impact. Switching to more sustainable alternatives in any and every aspect of our lives. Reducing the use of plastic. For example, wooden toothbrushes are becoming more and more popular, so they reduce the use of plastic. Carrying a reusable bag with us wherever we go, that will help us. Turning the faucet off while we are brushing our teeth, so that will save water, that will reduce the water wastage. When we are traveling, rather than when in places where we can walk or we can use public transportation, using that instead of taking our own vehicle. That will reduce emissions and emissions and diesel or petrol consumption. That will make a lot of difference. Reducing our consumption as much as possible. If we sit down and reflect, we might be using or buying things that we don't really need. So doing an assessment in our house, things that we do not need, we can, and are in good condition, we can donate to people who could use them. And similarly, reducing our consumption going forward in every aspect. What other ways can anyone add to this list?
Hello, Rajvin. Good morning. Would you like to say something about how you can control or help in climate change? By reusing water or reusing, recycling things?
Yeah.
Admin, unmute yourself.
Good morning, Miss Aditi.
Good morning.
Very happy to meet you here. As a trainer, I believe that we can help with climate change by recycling for sustainable future. We don't need to waste baggage. We can use reusable bags, recycle newspapers, recycle bottles into pencil boxes, and many other useful things. So thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Those are wonderful ideas.
And also we can have a lot of campaigns, awareness campaigns, because I'm a differently able person, and I believe that we can create awareness. So awareness starts with us.
Absolutely.
And I'm proud to be associated with Maven as one of my platforms. Maven has taught me what is it like to use recycled goods, and has expanded my creative juices, meaning that I'm also a laughter yoga coach, and I'm also a finalist for Miss Amazing Malaysia Season 2, a differently able beauty pageant, which can help empower the other people who are in need. So as far as sustainability and climate change is concerned, I believe that we could make a difference by thinking positive and changing the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your views, and thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share?
Good morning. By using less tissue papers, we always keep using tissue papers whenever we see them around us. So we have to consciously decrease the use, I feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to reduce our consumption as much as possible. Instead of using a tissue paper, uh, multiple tissue papers, we can probably use a handkerchief that is more sustainable. So we can.
Yeah, and if we are home, when we can use a towel, I have consciously started to do that, because we so mindlessly use, all these things these days, which our
Absolutely.
forefathers never did. They never had this. What did they do? I keep wondering, how did they wash their, they would get up and wash their hands after a meal. And I think we end up wiping with a napkin, a paper napkin.
Yeah.
And the softer, the better for us. And unfortunately, the softer, the more trees are down.
And deforestation leads to a lot of emissions. Cutting down of trees releases carbon and other gases. So
We are seeing all this climate change because we are playing havoc with nature, and nature is giving it back to us now.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, everyone. If there are more inputs, I'd love to hear.
Okay, I would like to say about forests because I belong to forest family. So, of course, forest is one place where things are, very, critical because people are cutting the trees and claiming the land, which is creating lot of climate change. And inside also they are doing so many things. Though um, all over the world, people are working towards it, but somewhere some pockets are there, some around the world, some pockets are there where government is also helpless in containing the cutting of the trees. And amazingly, Tamil Nadu is one of the uh, state which has improved the green cover. So when it is seen from the satellite, the green cover is, visible that how much it has improved over a period of time. And that is the dedication of the officers who are working over here. And yes, other states are also following the steps, but on whole over the world, many places, many countries are doing their bits, but still there is lot, many things have to be done. They have to replant, to create new artificial forests so that the climate temperature has to be maintained. People are just cutting the trees, just not thinking about it. Then there is a program called social forestry to control the temperature inside the city, inside the town. So what they do, this part of the department, they will plant trees and they will not allow original trees to be cut down unless and until it is very, very necessary. So a few years back, my husband uh, was supposed to give permission to create one flyover. They had literally brainstormed because without the permission of forest department, they cannot create any flyover or any road. So they have to cut trees. So only those trees which were very necessary, they were only uprooted and removed. Otherwise, rest of the trees, they are, kept like that. And that's how, temperature of many places in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu also is maintained because Tamil Nadu is very hot and it doesn't have much of water. So water crisis is also there. So people have learned to, conserve water. Many places they have to, store water, and the sweet water will come once in 2 days. They will conserve water, use it very minimally, and wherever it is necessary, they will use like that. So I learned a lot from Tamil Nadu people how they, use water, conserve water. And yes, about the forests, they have done a lot. And of course, other states must be and are doing, other countries are also doing much to, control the forest population, trees and everything. Even they have moved those tribal settlement to the outside the forest so that forest can be conserved. They have given all the amenities to the tribals so that they can sustain outside the forest, because there the tribals use everything from the forest. They are more connected to nature, but they are using it, and we have less of forest cover. So that's what also government has done a lot for them. So that's how they conserve the forest to control the climate, to reduce the temperature and so many things associated with it. So this is what I wanted to share because I belong to forest family. Little bit I know because of my husband. That, and always used to follow what all they are doing. So it is a proud moment that they are doing. All the officers are doing their bit, and in the milieu, we also follow their footstep and try and conserve energy in this way by reducing the use of tissue paper and forest produce. And we try to, encourage recycling the things that are used. So that is very important when we are using the forest product. And yes, everyone should, take a vow that yes, you have to conserve water, you have to conserve all the forests out here, recycle the things so that we can, you know, control the climate change. So one small step will make big difference. This is what I would like to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nupama, for the wonderful share. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Um,
So anyone else would like to share something which relates to them, to their heart, and they are doing their bit? Because recently Delhi was flooded, and that is also a result of global warming, and many other places are also flooded, like landslide had happened because of heavy rains. And heavy rains means there were landslide also, because forest has been disturbed, the eco balance has been disturbed. So that's why these things happen. So anyone who would like to share something about this recent flooding and the recent havoc that has been caused by heavy rains? So Shabana, you are at Delhi only. I hope you can share something.
Yeah, means right now, so we are getting better. So I think the Yamuna level is going, has come down below the danger mark. So, but yeah, of course, the people who were living earlier near to the river bank, they are still, haven't gone back to their homes. So I think the situation mainly in closer to the river is much worse than overall city. So of course, and this kind of flooding shows the impact of climate change that we are having. And I think in future we can expect more. So I think our action, these small actions that we are doing, we have to increase them. And as Aditi is suggesting, the role of sustainability is so important. But now the situation is going to the at a place where we not only have to think about the future, but also the current generation, because many of the people are suffering because of, our misuse of resources and the way we are not paying so much attention to our environment. So, yeah. So that is from my side, but then other people from Delhi can share if they have experienced flooding, because where I am, we are like, it's not flooded. So but we can, in the news, everything gets affected because everything is interlinked. So even though where I am, the city didn't get flooded, but then of course the whole uh, other systems, because we are dependent on food and veggies and all of these, the entire system get affected in any part. If any part is affected by flooding or any other climate change impact. So maybe Aditi can talk more about the circular economy kind of thing, because that is how it's impacting our lives and livelihoods both.
Yes, absolutely. So one point that I wanted to mention was, you mentioned about fruits and veggies. So buying local always reduces emissions and impact. So we should try to buy local as much as possible. So that cuts the supply chain to be shorter and reduces impact. So that's something that I wanted to mention. And circular economy is a concept that is being imbibed in all aspects of work and business and environment everywhere. Slowly, we are incorporating. Moving away from us to businesses, I wanted to mention about how circular economy is being used. There is a packaging company here, and what they're doing is, one, they are using replacing, so for packages, Tetra Packs, they use aluminum, a filter of aluminum, a coating, to ensure that the food survives longer, because it's perishable, so it stays longer. Now they're doing research and innovation and found a substitute which is made from sugarcane membrane, so which will reduce the impact hugely on the environment when we move from aluminum to a material which is biodegradable. This is circular economy, which and the Tetra Packs, they are connecting with government bodies, where these can be collected back from customers and then recycled, and they can get the recycled materials and they can use them for making packs again. So this is what circular economy looks like in action. And similarly, at home, we can apply it in different ways as well. Taking the example of this business entity. So
that's a Tetra Pak. Yes, we can also here also milk is being distributed in polypacks. Polypacks again, it should be repacked, or you can say that bottle system which was there in long back years ago, that is coming back slowly. Some of the private distributors, they have started sending milk in those bottles, and once the bottle is empty, they will recollect and then they will reuse that bottle, and they will replace those milk with the empty bottle with milk bottle. So that recycling is very good, which is being taken by private agencies, not in government. But government has long way to go to sustain this thing, replacing the poly bags to glass bottles. I feel somewhere something is happening in the packaging industry also, but it has to be, more. It has to be taken on a war footing to change the packaging system.
Absolutely. And packaging, plastic is a major pollutant, which is used in packaging everywhere. And even if you buy something from maybe, Amazon, the material that is bought is small, but the packaging would be huge. So we are adding so much wastage, and there'll be a lot of plastic inside the box. So we have to look at ways in making
Yes.
packaging more sustainable. Yes. And at this point, if anyone has any question or, would like to say something.
There is message from Neelamji. Lots of electrical equipment in our daily life. In kitchen we are using, and we are not using poly bags. We use container, reusable container. Yeah. So you must be using a container. That is really very good. But in major like metro cities, it is there's poly that milk is being distributed by the government in poly bags. So most of the slowly they will change, of course, but yes, this is a very good thing that you are taking in container. Anyone else who would like to share something? Anything they are doing, you all are doing to improve the sustainability? You can improve the climate change in some way, in some small bits. Vasanji, would you like to? Vasanji, would you like to say something? Okay. So, Aditi, in the last, what would you like to say? What would you like to advise our audience around here and around the world? A message that you can share.
My message would be, one, to look at ways in which we can reduce our consumption, which is very important, and also to reuse, recycle as much as possible, be a part of the circular economy, and to make this planet more sustainable. And very important, to create awareness, because we are in a phase of climate emergency, and it's important for everybody to participate. Each and every person is, and their contribution is important in solving this problem. Yes, we do have the larger community, governments taking action, but it is also our responsibility, and we have to take the lead as well.
Wow. Thank you so much, Aditi, for beautiful message. And we are going to, implement most of your tips. And definitely it is a major, issue which needs to be addressed. And if we do our little bit, it will make a lot of difference. So thank you so much, Aditi, and thank you all the audience out here. Thank you, Dr. Shavana and Ria. And we will meet you soon. And it was nice having you on board, Maven. Maven is a global learning and training platform which shares knowledge and awareness everywhere. So thank you very much. With this note, we end this talk. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.